Good morning. Welcome to my channel. My name is Shoshana, and I help guide people through spiritual awakening and to better understand themselves. And I want to talk about brainwashing. Is brainwashing a real thing? I remember when I was a child, and I remember hearing about, oh, those people are brainwashed, or that you can brainwash children, or brainwash people are brainwashed. And I remember thinking, well, that can't be a real thing, being brainwashed. I would never be brainwashed. I remember thinking that I'm beyond that. And I don't think I really truly understood the concept of it, because we are all brainwashed to an extent. We are all conditioned into believing societal consensuses, whether we know it or not, whether it is for the betterment of us or not the betterment of us. And even that is a perception, even that is a judgment in itself. But we have to be conditioned in order to even be able to function in this life, because we come into the world as a small, a baby, a clean slate. We have infinite potential and zero knowledge, experience, conditioning, zero programming. It's like a brand new computer that doesn't yet know how to do anything. And then we come into the world, and then we start getting trained. We start getting conditioning, and our conditioning happens either with purposefully, with people teaching us what you should do, what you shouldn't do, but mainly by example, because we come into a society, and the society is already set in a specific set of rules, that most of these rules are unwritten rules. There's lots of written rules, but that's just the topical. Our behavior and how we perceive ourselves, and the place that we believe that we are deserving of, is set by a whole different set of rules that is unwritten. So if we come into a family, have you ever noticed that people that are born into rich families typically will fall into that same category very easily and seemingly effortlessly? And you wonder why people that were born into poor families continue that legacy generation after generation after generation. Or people who sit most of their life in prison, and then you start seeing that run through generations, or addictions that run through generations, um, or traits, personality traits, or even jobs. Let's say if the father is a truck driver, the son becomes a truck driver, the grandson becomes a truck driver. It is because you are conditioned to know those things, and those things come very, very easily to you. And the thing about our mind is that we have the capability, this is a master computer. And many times when the computer, when our mind, when it's more than our mind, when our soul, when our being, our avatar, our ego is programmed, it is very difficult to change the programming, because the programming is it starts at level 0. So everything is built on something, right? It's just like knowledge in the world. You have the wheel. Cars have wheels that is built on ancient knowledge, and every generation we are adding to and building upon towers and towers and towers of knowledge that people have uncovered many, many generations before us. And so to go in and really, and a lot of the beliefs that we have within ourselves were created so long before we even have memory of creating them, that we don't even know what we believe. We don't know the default, our defaults. We don't know those core beliefs, what they even are, because they are in the subconscious level. That's why we're during the spiritual awakening, we're peeling back our subconscious. We are making it conscious. We are opening up. Have you ever had this, like, major realization, and you realize that you knew that all along. It just wasn't in front of your eyes, but it's like all of a sudden somebody will say something to you and you will immediately know that you already know that, but you have never had that thought before, or you have never, it's like recognition of what is already within you. And that is the opening of what is just beyond the conscious level. There's the conscious level, things that you know, and then there's the subconscious level, things that are way back in there that you're programmed with, that you don't even know that you're programmed with. And then there's this layer that is kind of in between. It's the weaving. And that weaving layer is the layer that we are constantly picking at and receding, making like a receding line in our subconscious. So there are things that are just beyond our dreams, our keys to this layer. Our dreams, if we wake up, write down our dreams, and make habit of it. Keep a dream journal next to your bed. If you wake up and as soon as you have that dream and you're still, because a lot of times we think, oh, I'm going to remember this, and then like 2 hours later we have no idea what we dreamt of. We just have the emotion of it. But there's so many keys to our subconscious within our dreaming. So if you wake up and you make this and you start writing down the things that you remember, it's amazing how you remember another thing, and then you remember another thing, and you remember another thing. And if you just jot it all down, it doesn't, it's for you. You create the cycle of dream. Your dream comes right through you, through your arm, into the book. And many times I go back and I read the dreams. I don't even recognize the dream, but just by reading what I wrote, there's so many keys to my subconscious there. So we're slowly picking at that weaving point, that point of that is woven between our conscious and our subconscious, and picking away at where we have been brainwashed, what we believe, what is making us tick, why do we do the things that we do. And a lot of times in the things that we are automatic in, we don't even know that we're doing them. We don't see that we're doing them, because when we get into the automatic mode, it is a protective mode many times. It is like, if something is coming, somebody says something and it is triggering some kind of emotional blockage that I have, something that I don't want to feel, don't want to deal with, something that I perceive as hard, something that, it doesn't even have to be something that detrimental, because we're learning how to open that subconscious and open our mind and open that little rabbit hole that we are living our life in, broadening our life and our capability of being open to all that is. And so when we are able to stop for a second and really look at ourselves, one thing that I really wanted to do once was and I may still do it, is to put cameras in my home that always film me. And then in situations that I get into, situations with my children, situations with people that I get into, I'll be able to go back and watch myself from above and see what I did in that situation. Because a lot of times you don't even realize what you're doing. You don't even realize the words that you're saying. And you don't realize the mindset that you're sitting in. And if you can re-watch yourself, you can pick your own self apart and see why wait, why did I react like that? Wait, I didn't even hear him say that. Sometimes somebody will tell you, but I told you that. And you're like, well, I didn't hear that because I was so busy in my own mind that I didn't hear what they actually said. And it would have changed the entire interaction. And so the more that we can, and I'm, it's not like brainwashing is a bad thing. We have to have some kind of base and for which to build our life. But to go back as we go through the spiritual awakening and reassess everything and make sure that everything that is in our belief system that is running our life from underneath, we put there purposefully, and we understand it, and we know why it's there, and we know that it's serving us in the life that we want to live, and not having these things that are programmed in our mind that we have been brainwashed with as children, that are running our life blindly from below the surface, and then we just know how to work with these mechanisms. So we sit in comfort of, okay, what it is it is. I'm not going to change. I'm never going to. Now, I've heard so many people say, well, that's just how I am. That is such a cop-out. That is just how I am. That's a cop-out. It's like saying, I don't want to heal. I'm comfortable in there's a word coming, but I don't think it's really a word. In being obliviant. Obliviant is a word. I'm comfort in being blind, and I just give up on myself. It's such a cop-out. And when we go through the spiritual awakening, and we find ourselves again and again and again, and go through the void, and go through the depths of ourselves and our emotional extents, and understand ourselves better, and find and go through the dark night of the soul, and go through losing ourselves again and again and again to find ourselves, or that emptiness, so that we can fill ourselves with what we do want, what's pure and light. And as we purify ourselves, and all of these beliefs that are false fall away, the feeling is so exhilarating and so empowering and so beautiful, and so enlightened and joyful, and freeing. It frees us to go through life and enjoy our life, and just in doing that, the taste is so sweet that it becomes like we have to do it. It becomes like this, oh, we have to do it. And not only as we go along and we are freeing ourselves, we get to a point where you have to take others with you, not only for our own reasoning of having partners in it, because as you go through it, and as you rise into this exhilarating, beautiful life, you want partners to show it to. You want, look at life. Look at this plane. Look at what we are playing with. Look at who we are. Look at yourself. Look at me. And you want to have playing partners in this. So not only do we feel like we want to bless others with that feeling and free them, it also becomes really easy for us to see the blockages that we have gone through in others, and want to, out of love, free them from their own blockages, so that they can also enjoy their life and live on the higher planes, or higher planes. I know it's all you have to say it somehow. And I do higher planes. I live in alternative or dimensions, or parallel dimensions. There's so many dimensions and states of mind that you can live in this lifetime. So it's like you want to give the gift of life to others, especially when you see others that have the capacity and the capability and are searching and are truth seekers. You want to help them and help them help themselves, right? You want to show them, guide them, be there for them, and because there's also joy in that, and it's almost like you cannot sit idly anymore. It becomes part of your makeup. You have to. It is part of the spiritual awakening, is bringing others along for the ride. And as you do that, you also get the joy of watching, and you also get the joy of having partners, and you also get the joy because anybody that is on this path, not only are we teachers, but we are also being taught. So we are always students, and every single person has something to teach you, especially about yourself, because we're reflections of one another. So I remember when I was a kid, I was thinking, well, I'm not brainwashed. You can't brainwash me, but we are all brainwashed. And that is a given. And I don't mean it in a negative kind of very topical, shallow kind of way. It is in the deepest, most core way that there is, and it cannot be different. So I am sending you guys so much love. If you've been here with me, thank you for listening and for being here and for your attention. And I'm sending you so much love. If you would like to meet with me one-on-one, my website is there. My contact information is in my website. In the next couple of weeks, inshallah, I hope that my intention is to build up my website a little bit better and offer some more things. I'm going through writings that I've been writing for years, of all sorts of messages that have come through, that have been channeled, that the things that I read back and I'm like, where did that come from? And I know that it's from a higher plane, but as I wrote them, I didn't know what I was writing. I just knew that I had to write it. And so slowly I'm going through. I have like boxes over in the corner. Slowly I'm going to be going through that because I feel like it's kind of a shadow place for me. I'm going to do so much processing. I think that's why I've been kind of a little bit avoidant of it, because I know that it's going to take me very, very deep, because I think today I will have higher understandings of whatever is written there. And so I'm just going to process it all, what needs to be written. Maybe I'll make a couple of ebooks. Maybe I will make, I'm just going to process everything that's in that box. Maybe I'll make some videos about whatever I find in there. A lot of the things in there are psychological and spiritual. So we'll see. Life tips. I've gone through it. I found so many life tips. I'm going to kind of try to organize it all. And I'm sure that a lot of the things I'm just going to throw away. We'll see. But I do feel like it's kind of like a gray area. It's one of those places that you say, yeah, I'm going to clean out the pantry, and you keep putting it off and procrastinating around it. So this has been like years of procrastination that I'm getting ready to go through it. I'm starting to feel like it's coming. And so that's where I am. The last couple of months, I've been really going deep with myself. It's been a while, so I'm kind of going through my own processes and my own expansion. And I feel like the deeper I go, the deeper it gets, the more detrimental and life-changing the things that I'm finding is, I know that I say that often, but it just keeps deepening and deepening and deepening. The layers that we get to in the spiritual awakening are just unbelievably amazing. Believably, it's there, and mystical, and finding all sorts of connections, divine connections that are just mind-boggling and take a while to kind of go through. So, as a personal note, sending you guys so much love. Thank you for being here with me.